Hey guys, it's Benedictine's The Truth. We live in a very difficult world, and some people just want to brush it off as if everything is good. No, everything is not good. Life is really difficult. I once saw an article about a guy who was suing his parents for being born. A lot of people didn't agree with him. Why would you sue your parents for giving you life? He was suing his parents for giving him life because life is very difficult. It's not like once you're born, things are easy for you. You're just going to get the things that you want, and people are going to love you, and you're going to be treated well in society. It doesn't work that way. You deal with a lot as a human. You're going to have a lot of unfulfilled desires. You're going to face a lot of disappointments. You're going to be treated unfairly sometimes. Some people are going to hate you for no reason. You're going to fail a lot in life. You're going to get sick. There are a lot of things that happen once a person is born. So it's not absurd for someone to feel like they must sue their parents for being born, because people really do go through a lot in this world. What people who are considering having children must realize is that their children will not have asked to be born if they have them. That is very important to realize. If you decide to have children, you must realize that your children didn't ask to be born. So if they start blaming you for things going wrong in their lives, they have every right to. They have every right to. And what you must also understand is that how you raise your children count. You might have everything as a parent and still not raise your kids right. That can also happen. And maybe they suffer a lot because of you, because they had you as a parent. Maybe if they had someone else as a parent, their lives would have been much better. But they had you as a parent, and because you suck as a parent, things didn't go well in their lives. Maybe they had to deal with a lot of traumas. I remember last week I came across a video of this other girl on Facebook. She's kind of famous where I live. She was talking about her dad. She's like, yo, I try to call my dad, because me and him don't really see eye to eye. So I try to call him and try to apologize, for whatever I did wrong. Now this girl is kind of a prostitute, so I'm sure he doesn't like her because of that. So yeah, she's saying that she tried to call this guy and try to apologize to him and try to make things right with him, and the guy didn't seem interested at all. I was like, damn, that's wrong on so many levels, because he's a dad. Listen, if you bring a child into this world, you owe that child everything. You owe that child everything. This is something that people do not even talk about. You brought someone into existence without their consent. There are a lot of things that they need when they are here. You can't just say, well, go and get what you want, as if the world is going to give them what they want, as if the world is not going to be cruel, as if the world is going to be kind. No, the world is not kind. It's no secret that the world is not kind. If you are lucky, maybe there will be people who will be kind to you, but the world itself is not kind. And what you must understand is that most people are not lucky. Most people have to work very hard to get what they want. And there are a lot of people who have worked very hard and who have failed. life is not easy. You don't just get what you want. There are a lot of people who are depressed because there are things that they want in this world, but they know they can never have. They've tried everything. They've done everything that they felt they needed to do, and they still can't have these things that they want. Now they have to watch other people live their dreams. Be like, yo, that's who I wanted to be, but well, things didn't work out. Now I'm chilling in this tavern drinking alcohol because I don't know what else to do. Life is a big project. Life is a big project. There are a lot of things that you must do when you are alive. And you can't avoid doing these things. You can't just chill and do nothing. If you chill and do nothing, you're gonna suffer way worse than you would suffer if you were doing something. Doesn't that suck? You can't just chill and be like, I'm not gonna do anything. This world is trash. Life is a big project. I didn't ask for this. You suffer. You are in a trap. Once you are born, you are in a trap. So whoever brought you into this trap owes you everything. I've had a lot of parents saying that, oh, I've done everything for my kids, I've done everything for my kids. I've given them everything. If they don't make it in life, if they don't do anything with their lives, it's their fault. No. Actually, you owe your child everything. If your child does not succeed, you still owe them. You must help them until they don't need you anymore. It's your job to take care of your child. You gotta take care of them until they stop needing you. And they don't have to help you in any way, shape, or form. They don't have to be there for you when you are sick. They don't have to call you and check up on you. You are the one who owes them. They are not the ones who owe you. That is something that's really important to understand. If you have a child and that child loves you and that child checks up on you and that child helps you, you're lucky. But it doesn't mean that that child owes you. Your child doesn't owe you anything. You owe your child everything, so you must help your child whenever they need your help. If your child calls you and they want to talk to you, you must be there for them. You must be their therapist. You are the one who brought them here. No one else has to help your child. You are the one who actually have to help your child because you are the one who actually made a decision for them to be here. You brought them into a world knowing exactly how risky it was. It's very risky to have children because you don't know how their lives are going to be. It's very risky to bring a conscious being into a world and have them do things on their own without you really being there for them. I mean, even if you decide to be there for them, it's still very risky. You must understand that things can go wrong. You must understand that they might actually need you at some point. And you will actually need to be there for them. Some parents have treated their children so harshly that actually if they feel like suing their parents, they're actually justified. Like really justified, because their children actually have to grow up with trauma because of them. I know parents who have treated their children so harshly, who have said the most horrible things to their children, and their children have to live with that trauma caused by their parents because they didn't know what they were doing. If you're a parent, you must actually mind what you say to your children because it matters. It matters what you say to your children. They really look up to you. You are important, even if they seem to not care about you, if they don't really care about you, but whatever you say to them actually matters. Whatever you say to them will actually affect them. If you say that you are proud of them, that's going to affect them in a good way. If you say that they'll never make it in life, that will affect them in a bad way. That might actually affect them for the rest of their lives. I know a lot of parents who don't know how to communicate with their kids, who don't know how to be there for their kids. There are a lot of adults who are actually suffering from childhood trauma because of what their parents say to them when they were young. And they think they can heal from that. No, you don't just heal from that. Can you imagine someone brings you into a world and starts saying horrible things to you as if you asked to be born? The person that brings you to a world has to make sure that your life is good. You see? If I decide, for selfish reasons of course, to have a child, I gotta make sure that that child gets to enjoy the experience. I mustn't be the one that's causing them to suffer. That would be, like, if they suffer, it will be my fault. Gotta make sure that I'm ready on every level. I gotta make sure that I know how to raise children. I know what to do when they're sick. I know what to do when they cry. I know what to do when they are not coping. I know what to do when they are failing at school. I wouldn't send my child to school. I like the fact that I'm not going to have children because, hey. But yeah, you can't just have children and treat them as if they asked to be born, as if you did them a favor by bringing them into a world. You didn't do them a favor. They have a lot of things that they need to do because you brought them into the world. So you are the one that actually owes them everything. They don't owe you anything. They don't even have to do anything because they didn't even ask to be here. You see? You can't just force someone to do certain things because you feel like they must do these things. A lot of parents feel like their children must do certain things. Oh, you must go to school and make sure you perform well. No, they didn't ask to be born. Maybe they don't like school. Maybe they think that what's being taught at school isn't good. Ever considered that? Maybe they feel like what's being taught at school is not for them. You cannot be mad at them. You cannot treat them as if they're bad because they're not performing well at school. You're the one who has to take care of them. You're the one who actually has to put them in a position where they will actually enjoy their lives, where they will actually be doing things that they actually like. If they find themselves doing things that they don't like, it's 100% your fault. Not all parents acting like victims when their children don't like them. If your children don't like you, it's 100% your fault. It's not their fault at all. It can never be their fault. It's impossible for it to be their fault. You have to treat your children so well that they will be forced to like you. You can't even fight with them. You can't even abuse them in any way. Like, don't treat them as if they are your friends. You treat them as if they are people that you brought into a world without their consent. That's how you must treat them. That's what you must always understand. You mustn't forget that at all, because there are parents who actually forget that. They treat their children as if their children are their friends. If their children make mistake, it's a big deal. Your children will make mistakes. They're children. You make mistakes too. And we are different as people, so we're going to make different mistakes. But you can't be mad at your children. You don't even have a right to be mad at your children. They have a right to be mad at you, but you don't have a right to be mad at them. A lot of parents are so entitled, man. Oh, I did this, I did that for my child. Because of that, my child must also do this, do that for me. I raised my child. I didn't have much when I was raising my child, but now my child is not taking care of me. Now my child is married and he listens to his wife. Hey, he has a right to listen to his wife. You brought them into this mess. People want to pretend as if life is not difficult. No, life is a very difficult project. And you have to work on this project for a very long time. Some people get to work on this project for like 20 years. 20 years is a long time. Some work on this project for like 30 years. 30 years is a long time. 40 years, long time. 50 years is a long time. Some even get to live up to like 120. That can happen. I mean, I saw a video, I don't know if I can actually like believe what was said on that video. They showed this old lady. She's very old. She looked very old, and they say she was like 150 years old. It's like, damn, someone gets to live for that long. Like, that's messed up. So they have to deal with a lot of things for that long. I mean, when you get older, you start to suffer a lot, because your body will be becoming weaker. So you're gonna suffer a lot. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna start forgetting things. You're not gonna have friends. Like, all your friends are gonna die, so you'll be alone. Your grandchildren ain't really gonna connect with you like that, because, well, you're gonna see your children die. You're gonna see your relatives. Like, no, that's horrible. Life is a long project, and it's not an easy project. And it doesn't give you a break. Once you're born, you can't really get a break. You can't really be like, hey, I want to be switched off for a couple of months. Nope. You have to be here. You actually have to deal with life the whole time. There are no breaks. I know what some people are thinking. No, actually, we do get to sleep. When you sleep, you dream. There are no breaks. Your own mind will start torturing you, because the experience that you'll be having in this world is actually like horrible. So you're gonna dream about horrible things that happen in this world. Isn't that funny though? I think that's really funny. So your life is horrible. Your subconscious mind will construct your dreams from the horrible things that are happening in your life. So when you dream, you still suffer in your dream. So you don't really get a break. Wake up in the morning and have to deal with the horrors of life, and then you go to sleep, and then your brain start constructing dreams that are, because dreams have to be convincing. Your subconscious mind is not just going to create a dream that won't be convinced. You have to believe that it's real. So for you to believe that it's real, it has to be just like what's happening in the world. Your dreams have to contain things that actually happen in this world. You don't dream that you are in heaven, everyone loves you, everyone treats you well. No, it doesn't work that way. You dream about people gossiping about you. You dream about your girlfriend cheating on you. You dream about your mom cursing at you. You dream about someone dumping you. Dream about getting rich. Like, that's your dreams. Because if you don't dream about this kind of stuff, you wake up. You realize that it's a dream. I mean, that's what's going to happen. If the dream is too good, you're going to wake up. Because your own mind is going to be like, nah, this shit ain't real. This ain't the real world. And you'll wake up. Your own mind will reject your dream. Be like, this ain't real. This is too good to be true. So you'll actually wake up. It's like your mind was designed to experience pain. I mean, your mind cannot really experience pain, but it was designed to have experiences that are full of pain, where you are suffering, dealing with a lot of challenges. So if you're gonna have an experience where you're not dealing with these challenges, your own mind's gonna be like, nah, something isn't right. That's why your dreams are horrible, man. And they shouldn't be too horrible. I mean, they will be too horrible, but they shouldn't be too horrible compared to what happens in your life. Right? I mean, life itself is too horrible, but you're already used to it. So even your dreams, they must be horrible, but they mustn't be so horrible that your own mind is gonna be like, no, this isn't real. So your dreams have to be horrible, just like life, so that you will be convinced that it's real. That's why every time when you dream, you think it's real, and you just act the way that you act in this world. If someone owes you money, you become angry, and you wanna fight them. Life is such a huge project. There are a lot of things that people have to deal with here. There are no breaks. You have to take care of yourself, man. You gotta make sure that you stay healthy. You gotta work out. You gotta eat. Brush your teeth. Buy clothes. Make sure that you impress people. Make sure that you have a home. Like that. There are a lot of things that you have to do. You're not just here to enjoy. It's like you're here to work, because if you don't work, you suffer a lot. So you just have to work. So parents can't be justified to think that their children actually owe them for having brought them here. It doesn't make sense. This is something that people do not talk about, but it really doesn't make sense. Your children don't owe you anything. You owe them everything. And if your child decides to sue you, they wouldn't be wrong. They wouldn't be wrong. I remember there's this other movie that I watched. Just that I forgot the name of the movie. But if you type on Google that movie about a 12-year-old kid suing his parents for being born, I think you're going to find the movie. It was an interesting movie because the boy's parents were just messed up. They were very poor. They had nothing. The kid had to suffer. He had to watch his sister get sold into slavery. That's how I put it. Like, his sister had to be married to this older guy, because they were too poor. Like, they wanted the guy to give them money. Like, that kid suffered a lot. And so he sued his parents and told them that they shouldn't have more children. They sucked as parents. And I thought that movie was very good, because there are a lot of parents who are not, doing very well. There are a lot of parents who have truly abused their children. Their children will never ever heal because of them. The children will be like 60 years old and still thinking about them. Like, damn, man. Like, because your parents are the only people that must really love you. Like, they have to love you. Everyone else doesn't have to love you, but your parents have to love you. So imagine if they mistreat you and you grow up traumatized because of them. How do you heal? And your parents will actually take care of, I mean, not necessarily take care of you, but they will need to be in your life until you grow older. Like they will be there the whole time. So if they're not good parents, if they're not taking care of you the way that they need to be taking care of you, if they're always abusing you, if they put everyone else first, if they have favorites, you're gonna be traumatized and you're gonna have to deal with that for a very long time. By the time you get older, you'll be so traumatized that that's actually going to affect your whole life. Trauma will actually affect your whole life. It's not like you can just heal from trauma like that. You just decide that, okay, I just want to heal now. I have suffered, so now I want to heal from it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You don't just heal from your trauma. You don't just choose to heal. You're still going to have experiences that are going to remind you of your trauma, that are going to remind you of your pain. And your brain, because your brain wants to be stimulated, it's going to look for specific situations that are going to remind you of your trauma. Like there will be a lot of things that will be happening that are actually good, but your brain is going to be like, nah, I'm avoiding all of that. And then if one thing happens that actually reminds you of your trauma, then it focuses on that. I don't know why the brain is like that, but I think it has to do with like your brain wanting to be stimulated. So if positive things that stimulate your brain are not happening, then your brain is going to search for negative things that are going to stimulate it. You see? Like your brain wants to be stimulated. So that if it doesn't have anything available that is good, that's going to stimulate it, that it's going to search for negative stuff. Be like, oh yeah, that's, you know. A lot of parents have sinned against their children. They sinned against them by bringing them here. They've sinned against them by raising them wrong. They've sinned against them by treating them as if they didn't owe them the world. If you're a parent, you owe your children the world. I mean, why do you bring your children here in the first place? Do you bring your children here so that they will be slaves, so that they'll work for other people and not get paid enough? Is that what you brought them here for? It's crazy that parents don't even feel ashamed if they bring children into this world and their children have nothing and they have to work for other people in order to have something. There are children who actually have to work now, like they're young and they have to work to survive. The parent can't even provide basic necessities, so they actually have to work to be able to get these basic necessities that they need. It's so funny. And they don't even feel ashamed. Oh, if you are not able to take care of your children, you should feel ashamed. You should blame yourself each and every day when you wake up. You shouldn't convince yourself that you're some kind of a hero. You're not. If you can't take care of your children, you're not a hero. You're not even close to a hero. Yes. You are something more messed up than a villain, because you don't even know that you're not doing well. You're convincing yourself that, oh, now I'm great, I'm a great parent because I brought my child into this. Like, no, you're not a great parent. Be like, oh, there are parents who have aborted, so because I didn't abort, that means that I'm a good person. No, that doesn't mean that you're a good person. And there are a lot of parents who will actually tell their kids that there are parents who actually throw their children in a dustbin. I didn't throw you in a dustbin, so that means I'm a good parent. Like, no, you were never supposed to throw your child inside a dustbin. Like, that's too horrible. So you mustn't say that you're a good parent just because you didn't throw your child in a dustbin. You're supposed to not throw your child inside a dustbin, you see. So that doesn't make you a good person, because you're supposed to not throw your child inside a dustbin. What can make you a good person is adopting a child. It's finding a child in the dustbin and saying, I'm adopting this child and I'm going to love this child, make sure that the experience is good. That's what actually makes you a good person. Having children doesn't make you a good person, because you just want to make copies of yourself. Be like, I'm cute, I want to make a copy of myself that I'm going to control, that's going to be helpless, that I'm going to love. Like, no, it's not selfish to love. Even to love is actually selfish. Just creating something just because you want to love it, it's selfish. Because you don't love anything for its sake. Whatever you love it for your sake. You're like, oh, I want something that I'm going to love because I don't love anything. So let me bring a child into a world so that I will love that child. Nah, that doesn't make you a good person. No one should be clapping hands for you just because you brought a child into this world. People should be clapping hands for you if you actually adopt a child. Because that really does make a difference. A lot of people who were adopted were actually treated well. I mean, yes, there are people who have been adopted that were mistreated, I know, but each and every story that I've seen about a person who has been adopted has been a good story. Each and every story that I've seen. I know that there are people who adopt children and mistreat them, because some people are messed up like that. But most parents who adopt children actually treat them well. And another thing that we must realize is that because to adopt, you actually have to qualify. You know, it's not like when you have children, you don't have to qualify. You just have to be able to conceive, and that's it. But to adopt a child, you must actually qualify. They have to check if you have a job. They have to check if you have a home. They have to check if you are living with someone and if your relationship with that person is good. They have to check if you've never been arrested. They have to check if you're mentally stable. And that should tell you something. Why do they have to check if you're mentally stable, if you've never been to jail, if you have a good job, if you live in a nice home? Like, why do they have to check all of that? That's because all of that matters. So that's why most children that have been adopted actually were raised well. It's because, you know, before they got adopted, there was a background check. But to have a child, no one has to do any background check. You can just have a child. You can be homeless and actually have a child. There are people who are homeless for real, who have children. Like, they're homeless. They don't have a home. They have nothing. They just be begging in the street, but they have children. You're like, I remember last time I was in Joburg, I saw this lady with like 2 young children, like really young children. She's a beggar in the street. I was like, what? How did this happen? But has she not been a beggar before having children? Did she have children and the father just maybe kicked her out of the house? Or she lost everything after having children and now she's a beggar? Like, well, how did that happen? Like, people will have children even if they know they cannot take care of of their children. It's so funny. Like, there's nothing worse than people having children even if they know they can't take care of them. Like, who do you expect to take care of your children? You expect the government to take care of your children? You think the government really cares? What the government cares about is having power. So, well, your children will be abused. This world is unkind to people who have nothing. Your children need a good start in life. You must look at it like being in a real race. If you are the one that has to begin the race, if you don't run fast enough, then the person that you're going to hand the stick to is going to have to work much harder than you to win, you see, because you would have not done well. If you don't give your children a good head start, they have to suffer because of you. They have to overcompensate. They have to do your job. I know children who are raising their sisters, their brothers. Find out the child is like 12 and the child has to take care of their sibling. Like, damn, that's wrong, man. That's not their job. It's the parents' job. I know people who have been taking care of their siblings for a very long time. Now they are older, they are in their 40s, and they're still taking care of their siblings because the parents didn't know what the heck they were doing. That sucks. That's not good. That isn't something that should make us be like this. It's horrible. People need to start talking about what it actually means to have a child. They need to start talking about why parents owe their children everything. That is really important. If another person says they want to sue their parents, you mustn't laugh at them. No, they actually do deserve to sue their parents. Because life itself is difficult and most parents don't know what they are doing. Most parents are just big babies. They think that they are real grown-ups, but they're just big babies. There are people who are in their 50s who have children. I'm smarter than those people. Like, there are people, like, if I had a child, I would actually be a better father than those people. Like, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to raise a child. They don't know what to do when the child is sick, when the child is bullied. They don't know what to do when the child is stressed. They don't know how to make sure that the child is, at least coping. Like, they don't know what they're doing. But they're in their 50s. You think that them being in their 50s mean that they are real grown-ups, like they have a lot of experience, though they understand a lot of things. No. Being old doesn't mean that you're smart. There are people who are in their 60s who are dumber than teens. You find that a teenager is actually smarter than someone who's in their 60s. Isn't that crazy? Imagine being raised by someone who's not smarter than you. and that person has power, you're going to be traumatized because you'll be surprised why they ain't treating you right. They ain't treating you right because they're not smart. They don't know what they're doing, but you're smarter than them. You're able to see their mistakes. This reminds me of dads in South Park. They are horrible fathers. Like Stan's father is horrible. Kenny's father is horrible. Carl's father is like they're just dumb, and you find that their children are smarter than them. Don't be surprised. Like, Dad, why do you do that? Why do you want to fight with this guy? Why do you want to control me all the time? Why do you not know what to do? Why do you embarrass me in front of my friends? Like they have no clue what they're doing. I mean, if you're smarter than your parents, you're going to be traumatized. It's inevitable because your parents don't know what they're doing, but you are able to see when they're making mistakes. So you're going to be traumatized. Be like, why do they do that? And you think that just being abusive, you don't realize that they're just stupid. And you're stuck with them because they are your parents. You live with them. We all had friends that were like, you know what, I'm no longer going to be with this person anymore. Like, I have to cut this person off because this person really sucks. Like, I don't feel good whenever I'm around this person. They're just too stupid, or, you know, something is just wrong with them. You know, sometimes we have to ride with people who are at our level of intelligence. If you're going to roll with a person who's dumber than you, you're going to suffer. So we all have had to cut people off because of that. So imagine if your parents are not really intelligent and you have to live with them. You can't cut them off because, well, they're raising you. You live in their house. They're the ones that are taking care of you. You're going to be traumatized because they'll be making a lot of stupid decisions, and because they are older, they'll be like, I'm right because I'm older, and my children have to listen to me because I'm older. No. You can't have a child that's way smarter than you, that's going to see through your bullshit. That is possible, and you're going to traumatize that child because you're not even going to know how to raise them because they're smart. I mean, if you had a child that was like you, maybe you'll know how to raise that child. But if you're going to have a child that's smarter than you, you're not even going to know how to raise that child. You are going to abuse that child. If that child starts asking important questions, you're going to abuse that child. Be like, oh, you're disrespectful. That child is not disrespectful. That child is just smart, and you're not. So you think that that child is disrespectful. So you traumatize that child with your ignorance. That happens a lot. That is why a lot of intelligent people are traumatized. They believe that they have mental illnesses. They've been traumatized. They've been through a lot. They've seen a lot of things that they cannot unsee. And they have had to see these things early in their lives. Like, you're 10 and you see your parents making stupid decisions. That's going to traumatize you because they're supposed to have figured things out. They're supposed to have learned. They're not supposed to be making stupid mistakes. If they make mistakes, you're supposed to understand why they made those mistakes, because it will be mistakes that people can make. But imagine if they make stupid mistakes and you're like, how did you make that mistake? It doesn't make any sense. A lot of parents have no clue what the heck they're doing. No one taught them how to raise children. It's like they're just experimenting when they're raising you, making all kinds of mistakes. It's like driving a car if you've never learned how to drive a car. And children are much more complex than a car. That's something that you must realize. If they give you a car and say drive it, and you've never been taught how to drive a car, what are you gonna have? What do you think you're gonna do? Do you think that when you return that car, it's still going to be how it was? or you will have messed it up because you were learning how to drive. So if you're going to raise a child and you don't know how to raise a child, you're going to mess that child up because you don't know what you're doing. Because you're learning how to raise a child while raising a child, and with no one actually telling you when you're doing something wrong. It's just you and the person that you're married to, or the person that you are raising, your partner. Both of you know nothing, because this society doesn't even teach people how to raise children. It's not like we live in a society that really cares about children. People will be like, oh no, abortion is wrong, abortion is wrong. And once these children are born, they don't care about them. They don't care if these children are homeless, they're living in the streets. They pass children who are begging for pennies every time. Like, oh, can you give me $1? Nope. But then you feel like abortion is wrong. Some people abort because they know they cannot take care of their children. Some abort because they know that, well, this world is just not in a good state right now. We're supposed to see things as they are, so that we'll know what we need to do, instead of doing things that are harmful all the time because we are not conscious enough to know what we need to do. This has been a horrible experience for many people. You have to be lucky to have had a good life. Many people are not having a good life. Many people are stressing. Many people are paranoid. Many people are depressed. They are of all kinds of so-called mental illnesses because of their experiences. They have no faith. They don't think that things are gonna get better. They have no hope because things have never been better. Can you imagine if your whole life, you have suffered your whole life? Do you think that you can have hope? You're in your 20s and you've suffered your whole life. How are you going to have hope? How are you going to think things will change? When good things happen in your life, you feel like you feel like you don't deserve these things happening in your life because your life has always been bad. You're used to things being hard. And you probably ruin things for yourself because you're not used to good things. You're too traumatized to even accept good things. Your own mind is going to be like, nope, I don't deserve that. So you're not going to fully embrace, good things. But yeah, if you've suffered your whole life, you kind of not have any reason to think things are going to get better, things are going to change for you. You're going to find yourself where you need to find yourself. If you've suffered your whole life, you've never had the things that you wanted, you've always been hated by people, things just never really worked out for you, you have no reason to think that things are going to work out for you. You just think, well, things never work out for me. This is my life. This is how it has always been. I just have to accept that. Because things never been better in your life. Things have never been good in your life. So you're like, I'm used to this. This is my life. This is how things work in my life. You even think you don't deserve good things because you've never had good things. But like, I don't deserve to live in a nice house. I don't deserve to drive a nice car. I don't deserve to have so much money that I don't even check my bank balance when I'm spending it. You've never had it. So you don't feel like you deserve it. You feel guilty. People who grew up in poverty feel guilty about spending money, even if they have it. If you grew up in poverty, even if you have a lot of money, like you had to have $20 million, and you still feel guilty about spending money. I'm telling you, you can have $20 million, but you still feel guilty. Even if you're just buying food, you still feel guilty because your whole life you've never had money. Every time when you had to go and buy something, you didn't have enough money. You had to walk around the shop for like hours before buying anything because you're broke. You have to think before buying something. You never make mistakes when buying things because you think too much. That sucks. Some people had to live their lives like that. We can't say that it's good. I even feel emotional when I'm talking about this because I know what it's like, and I know that a lot of people have had to live their lives that way. Like things have never been that easy. Things have always been hard for you. And you felt like things will never be better, and they've never been. They never changed. It's your whole life, things have always been the same. You've never truly been happy. You've never truly been free. That's crazy. That's why I'm saying that life is a huge project. It's sad that people are brought here without their consent and are treated as if they wanted to be here, as if they asked to be here, as if this is not a huge project, as if they weren't brought here to work, find themselves having a lot of responsibilities, to be blamed for not wanting to work. People are gonna blame you for not wanting to work. Oh, you gotta work, you gotta have a job, look at it, everyone else, they're working, blah blah blah. I didn't ask for this. If I did ask for this, then it will make sense, but I didn't. And they'll say, oh, everyone else didn't, like no one asked for this. Like, yeah, but if you didn't ask for something, you mustn't be made to feel guilty for not loving it. If you don't want to do anything, you don't want to do anything. No one should be forcing you to do something. Until maybe you find something that you love, something that you want to do. I make videos because I love making videos, and I feel like that's how I grow. That's how I get to understand new things. Because I do challenge myself. I do try to understand things much more deeply, and I think that is important, So when I make videos, I think, even before making videos, I'll think, like, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to talk about. And this is how I want my video to be. And if I start realizing some new things when making the video, then that will be great. So it's good that I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to do it. But there are a lot of things that I do that I do not want to do. There have been many jobs that I've heard that I didn't like at all. Like, damn, I don't love this job. I don't enjoy being here. I can't wait to go home. But I'm working because, well, what should I do? I'm in a world where you gotta work. You gotta pay your own bills. No one is gonna like pay bills for you. Like, hey, you didn't ask to be born, so I'm just gonna pay for everything for you because you didn't ask to be here. Nah, it doesn't work that way. You don't have people that are gonna buy you food, pay your bills. It doesn't work that way. You have to work. and you can't terminate this project. You can, I mean, you can, but you're not really allowed to terminate the project. You can't really say, hey man, let me just terminate this project. Everyone is gonna be like, no, you can't, that's wrong. No, they'll try to emotionally blackmail you, make you feel like you are evil for suffering so much that you actually want to terminate the project. They'll be like, oh, you are evil, you are evil. Think about people who love you. Think about people who will be affected. Like, dude, that's not what you should be saying to a person who has suffered so much that they don't wanna continue with the project anymore. That's not what you should be saying. You should actually be honest with them. Actually tell them that, hey, you have been strong to have been able to do this for that long. Like, you've been so strong, and you are full of compassion, because I know that maybe you're doing this because of other people and all that. You are a good person, you're kind, you're strong. I understand that this is hard. I understand, and there's nothing that justifies this. My advice to you is that, just try to do it for as long as possible. Try to learn as much as you can learn, and maybe things will change. Maybe you'll start to understand something that's actually necessary to understand. Maybe you'll understand something that's gonna help you escape this for good. Just in case you can come back and still have the same project. So maybe there's a way to make sure that you never get to have this project again. So maybe you're gonna figure that out if you stay longer. But people don't have compassion. People just want to control other people. They want to emotionally blackmail them. They will see what the truth is, but they'll try to ignore the truth and start lying to these people. It sucks. If a person feels like they don't want to work on the project anymore, they don't want to work on the project anymore, you shouldn't make them feel guilty for not wanting to work on the project, especially if they didn't sign any contract, because they don't owe anyone to work on that project. It wasn't their decision to work on that project. They were forced to work on that project. We must start being real, start seeing things as they are, and stop lying to ourselves, because human beings are so damn delusional, it sucks. You can't have a child and pretend as if you gave them a gift. It's not a gift, it's a burden. That's how you must look at it, so that you will treat your child the way that they deserve to be treated, without you emotionally blackmailing them, without you feeling like they owe you something for raising them. Many African parents actually believe that their children owe them something for raising them. Just like if I decided to help someone, I just found someone, maybe, let's say I find a girl in the street and she needs help, she needs money. I give her money and then expect something in return. And she didn't even ask for money from me. I just knew that she needed money. Maybe she doesn't have money for transport. I'm like, okay, pop something out and give her. And because I gave her the money, I expect something from her. No, that's wrong on so many levels. She didn't ask for my help. I'm the one who decided to help her. So she doesn't owe me anything. I'm the one who decided to help her. So it doesn't owe. me anything. Even if he doesn't say thank you, that's fine. So I'm the one who decided to help. She didn't say, please help me. You can say that someone owes you a thank you if you help them because they asked for your help. That makes sense. But if they didn't ask for your help, they don't owe you a thank you. So we must see things as they really are, so that this will make some sense. Thank you all, guys.